The first thing you're going to want to get is a screwdriver and a hammer, and then you're going to try to find the master link. And then once you find the master link, you put a screwdriver up against the clip and then use a hammer to try to hit it off from the back end. Once you get the link off, there should be 4 circular pieces of rubber, but on this one there isn't. To take off the master link, you just pull from the backside. You'll need to take off this clip and pin that holds the chain adjuster mounted so that you can push the motor forward later on. Next, you'll need a 5mm Allen socket for the impact driver to get the bolts out of the silent blocks that connect to the motor. This is what holds the fan onto the motor. Make sure not to drop any bolts like I did. Before working on any electrical system, always make sure to cut off the circuit so you don't hurt yourself. I always take off the negative on the right. That's what I'm doing right now. There are 3 bolts that connect the motor to the computer. Make sure to take off each one of those, but remove the wire and then screw the bolt finger loose right back in. There's also a tiny clip that connects into the computer. Make sure to unclip that as well. This is the clip I was talking about. You'll need an 8mm Allen and a 17mm wrench to loosen the bolts on the motor mounts. On this side, you can use the smallest extension on a Allen socket to make it go by quicker. Now we just got to pull out the bolts and move the motor out of the place. When putting the motor back into place, make sure the mounts are on the left side of the ones sticking up from the go-kart, as well as making sure there is a washer on either side of the bolt. Just like when we took out these bolts, you'll need a 17mm wrench and an 8mm Allen to tighten them. I like to put the motor back on the chain length adjuster so that it is in place and I can make sure that it is in line. The sprocket is in line with the gears of the differential. When wiring the computer back up to the motor, the bottom wire goes to the top wire goes to the bottom, and the middle wire goes to the middle one. Most of the time they should be labeled, but I've noticed someone changed them all to V-length wire. So if it is wired correctly, and if you're lucky enough, on the side of the motor, it'll tell you VW or U, and on the corresponding wire, it'll have VW or U.
How badly do you need it? Because I'll have to weld it today or tomorrow.
Putting on the master link is fairly easy as well. First, all you have to do is slide it through, but make sure you have all the 4 circular pieces of rubber on, or it will not work properly and you'll have too much play in the chain. So on this one I try to do it without a pair of pliers, but I've noticed with a pair of pliers it's a lot easier. You'll see later I use the pliers to pinch it to try to open up a wider space to get the link through. Once you have a wide enough space to put the link through, you can use the screwdriver to push it on. You will not need the hammer. It should be able to be done by hand. Always make sure to put the open end of the clip against the rotation of the chain. If it's with the rotation of the chains, there's a chance of catching it.